Hey guys, Luke here. Another day, another video about State of Origin 2020. I'm very excited. Actually, I don't know if that's a lie or not. I'm kind of excited. It's probably a better way to put it. But I've already done a video talking about the New South Wales lineup for Game 1. Now it's time to do a video talking about the Queensland lineup. Now, if you haven't seen the New South Wales one, go back and watch it. It's kind of in-depth. I feel like it's a fairly in-depth one, talking about a lot of the new debutants for the Blues. And as a Blues supporter, I can kind of go in and sort of focus on it and talk a little bit more passionately than I probably will right now. Right now, I'm sort of just looking at the Queensland side, and I'm going to be talking about it, but I'm obviously a New South Wales supporter, so I care a little bit more. But looking at the Queensland side, we have AJ Brimson at fullback. On the wings, we have Xavier Coates and Philip Semi. Actually, Philip Semi's been ruled out. I think Dan Gagai has gone onto the wing, and they've brought in someone else in the centre. I'm pretty sure that's the plan. I think it might be Kurt Capewell coming into the centres. But the name centres are Bronco Lee and Dan Gagai. You got your halves, Cameron Munster and Daly Cherry Evans. So pretty standard halves pairing there. I think that's their strongest halves pairing, even if injuries weren't a factor. Then you've got Christian Welch and Josh Papali, also two very strong props, probably who they would have picked anyways. It's their full strength front row, I would say. And then you have Jake Friend in at the hook position, making his debut as well. There's just so many debutants for Queensland that I feel like it's kind of redundant me going through and being like, yeah, this guy's debuting, because majority of the team are debuting. I mean, in the past couple of years, all the people who've retired or just aren't good enough or are injured at the moment, the Queensland side, it's a very, very different side. But we'll get off that. We'll keep going through the lineup. The back row is Felice Kafusi and Cohen Hess, both guys who have been there in the past. Then you have Tino from the Storm, or Titans next year. I don't even know how to say his last name, but he's the starting lock, which just seems so weird. That's what I mean by how weird this side actually is. Then you have Ben Hunt, Lindsay Collins, Jai Arrow, and Jaden Sewer on the bench there. I actually feel like the bench is stronger than a lot of the starting players. Jaden Sewer, I would have him starting over Cohen Hess. The Cohen Hess one is a very strange one, because he's obviously played for Queensland before, and that's, I think, why he's been picked. Obviously, Wayne Bennett's seen something in him that I haven't seen, and a lot of other people haven't seen. Cohen Hess was, when he first burst onto the scene, he was very hyped up. For good reason, he was very, very good. I had huge raps on Cohen Hess, but he's just gone downhill. I can't pinpoint why. A lot of the Cowboys players have done it, to be fair, have sort of dropped in form the last couple of years. Cohen Hess is one in particular who's done that, but he's got a starting position in the Queensland side, which I think says it all about the Queensland side in general. You have guys like Bronco Lee, who couldn't even crack the NRL last year, and he's playing State of Origin. Tino's in his first proper season. I don't know if he played last year, but this is his first season where he's actually made a name. He's been very, very good, but at the end of the day, he's still a bench player for the Storm. They had a Sofa Solomona and Dale Finucane starting ahead of him, and yet he's the starting lock for Queensland. In terms of the rest of the side, I mean, Felice Kafusi picks himself, Josh Papali as well. I think they're the two standouts there in terms of the forward pack. But Christian Welch, I can't remember if he's actually played before, but he's someone who I think it was a must-have in this side. He's had a very, very good season, and also it's kind of good to see him come back after the injuries he had. I honestly thought he was done for. I thought he might have been a alright NRL player. Would have been one of those ones who played a couple more years and then sort of just faded out because the injuries got the best of him. But it's definitely not what's happened. He stayed at the Storm. He just re-signed with the Storm, actually. He's gone on to win a premiership, and now he's in the Queensland side. Jake Friend, I think this is well overdue. I say well overdue, but I mean, really, realistically, I mean, there was no real opportunities to pick him. Cameron Smith was always there, so you're not going to pick Cameron Smith. I mean, let's be realistic there. And then Ben Hunt, look, I actually feel a bit sorry for Ben Hunt. I think he's actually played very, very good at hooker when he's played, but I mean, this is the side that Wayne Bennett's gone for. Maybe Jake Friend's there more to just sort of do some tackling, and then they bring on Ben Hunt to try and spark him at some point during the game. But I don't know if that's a good tactic against this Blue side, considering how strong their side actually is. You don't want to give New South Wales too big of a start there. But I mean, Jake Friend's not going to let you down, that's for sure. But it is strange considering a lot of people. Jake Friend wasn't someone, he kind of was, but I feel like a lot of people were leaning towards either Ben Hunt or Harry Grant. Harry Grant's not even in the side, and then also Ben Hunt is on the bench. So I feel like Ben Hunt, he's a good bench option just because he can cover a few more positions. I mean, if you chuck Jake Friend on there, I mean, he can only really cover hooker, and all you'd be doing is shifting everyone else out of position. Whereas Ben Hunt, he can cover the halves, he can cover hooker, just that little more versatility, and then also you can come on and do a good job off the bench too. But your halves, Munster, Cherry Evans, very standard, like I said. I mean, that's the strongest one they could pick, even if it was played at a normal time, no injuries and all that. I think that's who you go for. I mean, I can't think of any other halves who are really in consideration. They would have been in big trouble if Munster was out injured. You'd probably end up with a guy like Ash Taylor, who another one. Even last year, you probably wouldn't even be thinking that he's going to be playing NRL, let alone in the Queensland squad. But yeah, the rest of the side, AJ Brimson, really like that. Really rate AJ. Look, maybe if Ponga was there, I feel like you'd have to find a spot for both of them. Maybe Brimson would have been on the bench in that Ben Hunt role. Maybe wouldn't even seen Ben Hunt there, but Brimson, well-deserved debut at fullback. The wings, Xavier Coates, Philip Samuel. Sammy's apparently been ruled out. Once again, strange ones. I mean, Philip Sammy's had a really good year, but yeah, you've had guys like Kyle Felt for years who they've always been on the cusp and just never get it. And then even now when you think, all right, this should be his time, still not his time. So yeah, Philip Sammy's there. Well, Xavier Coates is probably the more talking point. I feel like was he like 19, 20? He's very young. And he's had some ups, he's had some downs, he's very quick. But by no means is he like a world-class winger at this point in his career. Look, he might well go on to be. He might even have a standout Origin series, and this might be the start of his superstar career. But you'd have to say at this point in his career, he's at best a good winger. In a Broncos side, they've got the wooden spoon too. And then you've got Bronco Lee there. Couldn't crack it at the Titans or Bulldogs. He's had a very good season at the Storm, but even in the grand final, showed some lapses. It was more due to the fact that the rest of the side sort of got around him. But there was a time where he didn't pass the ball when he should have. He got run over the top of by Stephen Crichton, who's also playing for New South Wales. Look, they could be in danger there. And also, you add in that he's playing in a Storm structure, which is renowned to be very good. And he's not going to be in that structure. So he's got Xavier Coates on the outside. I don't know if Coates is a great winger, but look, that could be very dangerous. I suppose for both sides, with the ball, could be fantastic, but in defence, it's very dangerous. And then add in whether it's going to be Gagai, Catewell, I don't really know. But Gagai, his best position is definitely wing, but I feel like he could be a serviceable centre. He's still probably the best centre Queensland's got, so I suppose you got to play him there. But it's just crazy to look at this Queensland side and compare it to the New South Wales side, and you just see how much depth New South Wales actually has. It kind of reminds me of Queensland of old when they were on that run. You know, they'd have guys like, say, like Darren Lockyer. All right, he retires and Cooper Cronk comes in, who's already been playing off the bench. And then when, you had Cronk or Thurston out, then you could bring in Cherry Evans. And, if Billy Slater is out, you could just chuck in Darius Boyd, Greg Inglis. Like, there's so many fantastic players in that. And that's what the New South Wales side kind of reminds me of. We're talking about hookers and stuff like Jake Friend. He never got a chance because they had such a good hooker in Cameron Smith. And then they had backups like Ben Hunt and even guys like Matt Ballin. I think he played a game. They just had a lot of good hookers at the time still. Jake Granville's another one who didn't get an opportunity. Ben Barber never got a chance. A lot of fantastic players in that era for Queensland, and it's just crazy to go from that to the current side where, look, you could probably fit this side into an NRL salary cap, and I think that says a lot about it. Look, the only ones who would actually be like out-and-out superstars, if you're looking at that side, I would say Munster, Cherry Evans, Josh Papali. They're the only real superstars. You got a lot of really good players in your Kafusis and stuff like that. But in terms of actual superstars, Ben Hunt is probably another one, but he's on the bench. But yeah, I'd actually say Jaden Sewer's been the form second row out of all of them. It's crazy to think that he's not even starting, and he actually plays for Wayne Bennett week in week out, which is even more weird. And he's the coach. But yeah, Jai Arrow on the bench. He's another one. I thought maybe he would start. Maybe he would get a starting prop position. Maybe at lock. I don't know. I feel like he kind of hard done by to not be starting. I don't know if he started last year, but yeah, I feel like he was pretty good last year. He's been very good for the Titans over a couple of years now. So yeah, it is very surprising that he's on the bench. Just looking at their actual reserves, Kurt Catewell, Fodawaker, Dynamis Louis, Heimel Hunt. There's no one there. Well, obviously, Catewell is probably going to be playing. But in terms of Fodawaker, you could have chucked him in there, but I don't know who you really drop. Like, the prop position is probably their actual strongest position. Like I said, Jai Arrow is on the bench. Lindsay Collins had a very good end to the year for the Roosters. He was someone who I talked about for a while, and I was like, he's a bit of a joke player. He's not actually that good, but he's actually really come on leaps and bounds this season. So, look, if I was Queensland fans will be pretty happy he's there. Has a lot of aggression, plays hard. I can't remember which game it was. Might have been the Penrith game, but I feel like he single-handedly got them back into the game. Obviously, they didn't win, but I thought he had a really, really good stint. But yeah, Dunamis Lily, kind of just like an average player. Heimel Hunt, kind of the same. So not a heap of depth for Queensland there. So if they want to hope that there's no injuries, and especially over a 3-week period with 3 Origin games, injuries probably very likely to happen, let's be honest, or at least sore bodies. I don't know if they're going to rest some players or if they're just going to play all 3, but that's an interesting dynamic. That's probably the coolest dynamic of State of Origin 2020. But yeah, that is my thoughts on the Queensland side. It's not great. And realistically, you could probably put this side in the NRL and then they probably get, I don't know, bottom 8 or something. Bottom of the top 8, I should say. So probably from position 5 to 8. That's where I'd see this team actually coming in the NRL. But yeah, leave in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on the side? Obviously, I don't think it's great, but I'd love to hear what you have to say. We can have a bit of a chat, so go ahead and leave a comment. Also, after you've done that, if you did happen to enjoy the video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you're new around here, make sure you turn on the notification bell as well. It is quite important, at least to be notified immediately when I upload. So yeah, if you're enjoying the videos, especially around Origin time, plenty of stuff to talk about. You may as well turn on the notification bell. And also give me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. Mr. Luke on YT for mostly everything, Snapchat included, and just Mr. Luke on Facebook as well. So go ahead and give me a follow and a like on that. And now guys, State of Origin is in a couple of days. Expect a couple more videos on it. So yeah, this is the end of this video. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.